That is so odd. Like, I don't even know my own astrological sign.
What's your birthday?
July 8th.
You're hold on, a Cancer.
Yeah.
I've been called a Cancer
before. No, I can't tell you anything. I can make up some stuff.
I have definitely been called a Cancer.
Well, let's not make it negative, you know?
And tomorrow, Dan is going to be like, I have no idea what my astrological sign is again.
Like, forget this. I hate it.
I've heard a million times in my life what I am, and I forget as well. I can never remember.
Really?
Yeah. My
does,
birthday is later this month. I still don't know what it is. I haven't even heard, like, everybody has a September birthday. I can't remember what the September one is.
Virgo.
Is it Virgo or Libra? Because I'm a Libra.
Libra's, it starts September 21st, yeah.
Oh.
Nobody knew it was going to be a quiz on astrological signs. Here we go. Alaina's going to win.
Are you going to give us a sound bath later, too?
I mean, I'll bust out those singing bowls.
Do you read tea leaves?
No, but it's actually funny you mentioned that. Recently,
Oh, my God.
I recently was telling
Coming out the
somebody.
gate with the weird.
Yeah, no, that's usually how I come out the gate. No, I was just telling somebody the other day about this, like, woman at work had read my tea leaves, like, a really long time ago, and she, like, told me I was going to be with somebody with, like, a certain letter name, and I was like, still, you know, never.
What is the letter name?
It was E.
Well,
there's, like,
they went out on a
names.
limb with an E name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Did they specify that it had to start with the E, though? Or does it just need to be in there?
Yeah, it's the Wheel of Fortune.
right?
First or last name?
Middle name, too.
Yeah.
Are we going for Ezekiel Elliott Engler? Or, like, where do we draw the line on the E?
I need to go find her and ask.
Was she even a real gypsy? Because if she wasn't, then you can't trust her.
Well, so I went to a real gypsy literally 4 years ago when I was in Peru, and I was just, like, messaging a friend of mine.
Like a glass-eye gypsy, or like,
Yeah,
I'm
like-
a gypsy. Like fancy dress gypsy.
Like, somebody had to translate. She didn't have, like, a crystal ball or anything, but it was just, like, some little old lady who I just, you know, spoke Spanish to me, and she told me, I think I was, like, on Lake, just talking about this today, too. I was on Lake Titicaca.
Okay.
In, like, the Peruvian-Bolivian border. Anyway.
Ryan, you can't laugh at that. It's just the name of the place, dude. Jesus.
Laughed and shook my
fucking
head.
jaguar.
Don't call him out.
Well, I'm just used to it with Ryan. He's the first person I looked to when I heard the name. I was like, oh, no, this is going to be a problem.
Something immature. This is going to happen.
The guy named fucking Jagoff.
Oh, my God.
Well, needless to say, I still haven't figured out my future. So, anyway.
Well,
You got time.
I do see an E in your future tonight with E.H. Taylor.
Oh.
You know,
Oh,
Nice.
Look at that transition.
Segue.
Wow. Like you were waiting for that.
oh.
he was.
Like
He
it.
started working on that, just hoping. Like,
Uh-huh.
Hoping we were
led
gonna
this
talk about
conversation to the E. Like, that was part of his plot.
Well, I edit the podcast and I had to spend like 4 hours on last week, so I'm really hoping we can rein it in this time.
4 hours.
You should have seen
It went off the
Actually, I shouldn't act that way because there have been episodes of ours where it's taken me like a few weeks
Yeah.
to just like get it together. But I feel your pain, and it's
We
a beautiful thing.
we talked about Reno 911 for like 20 minutes.
It can get like that.
So Ryan read the title of your podcast 5 minutes ago.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He showed up and I said, hey, have you done any background work on this? He goes, no. And then a second later he goes, so they're blondes?
Should have
Most
wore a
days.
wig. That would have made it.
Or like
worse.
pulled it back so only your roots were showing. and
Yeah,
it
he would have
looked
started
weird.
sweating.
Yeah.
Like they're not blonde.
Who's these guests?
That's when he got the new Zoom name, right? Whenever Dan realized that he was reading your bio out loud.
You read our bio? Which one? Where did it come from?
Oh, it said you guys like salsa danced or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much?
He obviously got a lot from it.
Yeah, a lot from it.
Notice he wasn't even confident about that.
That whole salsa dancing story is really just to make fun of and embarrass me. So
Abby says it was embarrassing for her, but I split my pants that night. So
Yeah.
literally right in half at the nightclub. Just
Wow.
right at the back.
Was I there for that, or was I
Yeah, no, because you told,
physically present for that?
I think you were there. Did you go to the club with us afterwards? The
don't
EDM
remember.
show? Because
Great
I
question.
remember
Wait, you
my-
still went out with split pants?
well, so this is how drunk we were. Well,
Can't hold her back.
no, you just
Neither of us.
tape them up. Hope for the best.
If you split your pants, you're going to need a tailor. E.H. Taylor.
Are we
Tell
going to
me.
be doing this all night, or?
Yeah, it's just going to kind of go in loops like this. We're not going to taste it.
So this is actually like,
Cool.
if you pay attention, like if you do watch any of the other ones,
I
this
will
is kind of how
now.
it typically goes, but normally not until about 10 minutes in. So we just got an early start.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Wow.
wrong with that.
Segues for days. We'll do it.
Absolutely. And the great part is that we're already recording all of this. So like
Great.
we can slip this in like early, late.
Tuck it in, hide
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've got our editing pro here who like is a like legit solid editor. So
Whatever Ryan says will be gone. Don't worry about it.
wear your fucking Sopranos gabagool shirt.
I did. You like that?
The one message that Steven sent you all week was to stop your
That's what-
goddamn
that's
Sopranos
that-
goddamn role play.
That's why I wore it.
Cosplay.
That's why I wore it.
So,
I'll be honest, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I've been staring at your shirt all night. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You ever watch
Can I
Sopranos?
cuss?
or-
Sorry, I cuss. You can
Obviously,
bleep
she
it
has
out
a.
if
fine.
needed.
Oh, no. Ryan did a Terry Schiavo impression last episode. You were fine here swearing.
I
I'm
am
gonna have
very,
to watch that one.
very disappointed in the ending of Sopranos.
Really?
Yeah, I just wanted more. I wanted more.
I didn't like it at first. I've grown to like it over time, though.
How many times
After
have you
you've
watched?
Guys, we can't spend 20 minutes
Probably
talking about a
like
show
3
again.
or 4.
Guys,
No, this is gonna be a short conversation because I have nothing to add.
good.
I don't
Okay.
like
All
talking
right.
about
You
things
two
I can't
go.
talk
You get a
about.
full minute of
Yeah,
talking
here,
about Sopranos.
Gabagool's it's a meat. So it's capricola, but they say gabagool. Italians do. So my brother bought me this shirt and I wore it. That's Tony, Steven, because you've never watched it.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean, Steven was making fun of me last week. So I'm like, all right, I got to find that fucking shirt. I looked for it for like 20 minutes today.
Wait, you wore the same shirt?
No, he made fun of me for saying some Guido shit or something last week. So all right, I got to find a Sopranos shirt, and I found it.
In Ryan's head, he lives the Sopranos lifestyle. But that's
yeah.
it's only in his head.
Just in my head, yeah.
Like you know the pirate from Dodgeball?
Is that what I'm like?
That's Steven or Ryan, except for the Sopranos lifestyle.
And this is getting weird as it goes on. This is great.
Yeah.
This is, and to add to it, Ryan living the Sopranos cosplay lifestyle. He right now is at his mom's basement recording this episode.
who his mom unfriended him on Facebook. So
She added me
Why?
back 2 days ago.
oh, did
why? What did
Yeah.
you do?
I called her an old hag.
On Facebook?
No, to her face.
Then why did she delete you on? Because she couldn't kick you out of the house.
I mean, probably.
she? Squatters' rights. You know?
Another bourbon show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another Bourbon Show. I want to give a huge welcome to our guests this evening, Alaina Ingram and Abby Devereux. Big applause.
Yeah. Oh, are we clapping?
Hello.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, clap for
Coming
yourself,
up
you know?
with
Pat on the
the
back.
three of us. I wanted to give you guys a big round of applause because, like, you guys literally are slumming it up with this. Like, you guys have, like, your podcast that is, like, solid. You've got your events that you do around town. And, like, you are helping us out by coming to our podcast. That's the way I see it. So, you've got your following.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We were going to be humble, and now we're not.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. So
Look.
for the listeners that like the three people that follow us, Can you tell?
There will be more. We did this thing at the beginning of ours. There will be more.
We're like for the people who aren't listening now, what will be?
So we picked up a new follower today. His name's Kurt. So
We got to stop this shit though. This doxing everybody who follows us.
And then we've got
out,
Dylan.
Kurt.
He's our buddy. And then we've got Ryan's brother, who is a follower of ours.
Yes.
Out
So
of
for those
obligation or because he enjoys content?
He knows I don't like hearing my own voice, so he just plays it whenever I'm around.
My kind of brother. Nice.
That's awesome.
Mainly that, yeah.
Just clicks. Who cares?
Yeah.
A view is a view, right?
So tell our three listeners the things that I didn't go into details about. Let's hear about you guys.
Oh gosh. We usually have like a little elevator pitch, but we have a podcast. We do whiskey tastings. We do events. We are just a little out of control on our Instagram, just posting random things. Our podcast is really just the two of us sitting together talking. We review a whiskey or a bourbon or a couple, talk about the distillery. We always have a very uplifting, empowering word of our episode, which is always fun. Balance, family, strength, courage, all those feel good words.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about how it applies to our life, and we go off on random tangents, and just two women just out here living their lives.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Love it.
Yeah.
You guys have a much more professional podcast than we do.
I will accredit that to Alaina because she's very outline. Everything needs to be set and tied and perfect. I'm more of like a sit down and just, what are we talking about?
Well, I'll accredit to Abby because she's the one that edits it and makes it sound amazing. So
there we go. Teamwork
tag
right
team.
here.
This goes right back to what you were just saying, Stephen. Like, it's impossible, they are so uplifting. It's a
Little do you know.
This afternoon, actually, we were just texting. I was like, can I return this week? Can we just be done? Like, it's Monday and it's time to send it back. I'm done.
Fuck the whole year.
Over it.
Fuck 2020.
Yeah.
I think everybody could learn something from you guys because every single step of the way, it's just like you compliment each other. You're positive back to one another. You try to top each other with compliments. Meanwhile, these guys, I made a mistake 10 years ago. These guys don't let me forget it.
Yeah.
Well, we won't let each other forget the stupid things, but when we're talking about exciting stuff we're doing, we will be positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think what you guys are doing, well, you ladies are doing, I think what y'all are doing is really awesome. I think it's great that you guys prove that bourbon's not just for guys, but it's for lesbians too. I think
Wow. Okay.
really.
Sneak in there.
Did anyone catch Elena's reaction? She's taking a big sip.
It's all about timing.
It's all about inclusivity.
See, I didn't do the research. I'm like, oh, they're lesbians?
Shouldn't you guys be in the same video?
Do you live together? Unreal.
We could have really fucked with him.
That would have been awesome.
We would have gotten off this little episode and he'd been like, you guys, are you serious?
Probably still may. So.
There will be questions.
So thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yes.
I can't wait to get drunk with y'all. This is going to be tonight. This is our drink of choice. This is E.H. Taylor small batch. It is one of my very, very favorites. Same with Ryan's. This is amongst our favorites. One thing that we do every episode, Abby and Alaina, is Stephen gives a rating to the label. Not to the bottle, but to the label.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Stephen, what do you think of this one?
I'm very lukewarm on this one. I'll say I like the overall presentation quite a bit of like the bottle. I love stuff that comes in. You get to open a gift every time you buy one of these because it has the sleeve on it.
Mine's a little more yellow than yours.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the mom's basement effect. You got
maybe that's what it is.
When you smoke
Mother's
cigarettes and the picture turns really yellow behind on the wall.
Does she have her tanning
lighting.
lights on?
Yeah, we joke. She looks like the roommate and There's Something About Mary. I
Oh,
forget the
God.
Now you know why he got deleted, right?
She says that about herself. I promise.
Oh, okay.
That's not me.
So with that in mind, back to the label.
Well, I'm just saying, I think this is a better picture for you. But you know what? Fuck it. I don't care, Steven.
I like Dan's color more, actually. I like that. I like the paler color. I like the.
Oh, what?
I
What
do
are
like
the
this,
better, Steven?
Ugh. I like the
That's a
script,
Richard Spencer reference. Never mind.
and I don't like the picture of the old dude. I think whiskey companies needs to stop putting like old white dudes on their whiskey. So that knocks it down a full point. I think I'm giving this a 4. It's very middle of the road, but
Isn't the old guy E.H. Taylor?
He is.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. You got to.
So we don't need to see what his face is or
No.
the hat.
Just his
No.
name.
No,
Okay.
Not
I
that
am.
he's a historical, like really important historical figure in not only whiskey or bourbon, but in like food regulation, just in general.
Okay, so we
I
can
am.
go look him up in a book. He does not need to live on the label. is what you're
Absolutely.
saying.
I do not
Okay.
like seeing who prepared my food or drink whenever I'm eating it. That'd be super weird.
Okay, so now that the label is rated, what
Now
do you guys? Do we just talk about the product?
let's drink.
Well, I have been, but okay.
Oh, I didn't know if that's what you were drinking earlier. I didn't know.
Mhm.
Good for
Big
you.
pour.
I took the whole bottle and put it
Don't
in the
need-
glass.
Don't need your judgment, so
I
keep
would
that
never
back in your mom's basement.
Yeah, I'm moving out in 2 weeks. Alex.
I'm
Are
sorry.
you? Are you? That's so
So,
funny.
Steven, you're the only one that's never drank this before. I want to hear what you think about it first.
It's good. It
Is it a 4 out of 10 too?
I'm assuming that Abby and Alaina, you've both had it, right?
We actually had this in one of our very first virtual tastings
Okay.
earlier this summer.
Okay. I made that assumption because
hmm
you've been around the bourbon world for a while. So
Yeah, there's always something we haven't had, but this one we have.
Okay.
All right, so Steven, it's good.
it's good. Yeah, I like it so far. I think I need to let it linger a little longer for like the aftertaste, because at first I was ready to say that it was good, but it kind of went away quick.
Mm.
But I think that was just how smooth it was. I do still have a flavor in my mouth. It's kind of like, it has like a fruity note to it
Mhm.
at the end. I can't quite place it yet. Dan, I know you were saying this was good in an old fashioned, and I'd love to hear your reasoning for that. I'm guessing it's because of the fruit taste, or why is that?
For me, it's the vanilla and the caramel. Like, yes, I've talked about it previously, but I'm one of those crazy people who is willing to use this in an old fashioned. And
Not
to me,
crazy.
it makes one of the best old fashions on the goddamn planet.
Interesting.
Um,
What is your recipe for an old fashioned?
So for this one, well, so first of all, it's 50-50 water and sugar.
Mhm.
But then I actually really enjoy taking some fresh blueberries and dumping them in the water while the water. So I take water, I heat it, add blueberries. Once it's off, I strain the blueberries, then I add the sugar and then stir it until it dissolves. And then I cool it. And with blueberries, you actually have to use normally I just use a strainer if I'm going to make some sort of a fruity old fashioned. But with blueberries, you have to use a cheesecloth because the seeds are so very, very tiny. And then if I'm making a blueberry old fashioned, I don't use any bitters at all. It's just 2 ounces of, 2 or 4 ounces, depending on how I'm feeling that particular night,
Mhm. Yeah.
of whiskey, and then like a tablespoon of the syrup.
Okay.
But like that vanilla and caramel from this small batch goes so well with the blueberries that it's just really, really, really good.
Mhm.
Sounds amazing.
Interesting.
I
I'm
love
down
it.
there this weekend. I want one of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you batch
Yeah.
cocktails? Like, when can I pick them up?
But if we decide to meet up and drink some night, I'll be happy to do it.
Great.
I'll bring
I'm
my
all for it.
I'll bring my syrup along. It's
Mhm.
it makes for a really I read one time, the Bourbon Bible says that you shouldn't use blueberries don't go well with whiskey. Well, they're full of shit. Depends on what whiskey you're talking about. There's so many goddamn whiskeys out there with so many different flavor profiles.
Is that the New Testament or the Old Testament of the Bourbon
It's
Bible?
the dumb testament is what it is.
Wow. Okay.
Cocksuckers wrote that.
One
No,
way to approach it.
No, I just hate that. Like one of the things that I hate so much about the Bourbon Bible is that they try to make these definitive rules. And I'm sorry, when it comes to like bourbon or whiskey, I don't believe in any definitive rules except for drink what you enjoy, however you enjoy it. So it pisses me off when people are like, "Oh, you can't do this." So
in everybody's taste. I mean, that's like telling a chef. I mean, you wouldn't tell somebody. I guess people would tell somebody behind the bar, but I mean, and somebody would tell a chef. But like, it's creative freedom, right? It's expression, and everybody has a different preference. And something I find more frequently is like, I'm just very mood based with mine. So, you know, if I'm just in a real cocktail sweet mood, I mean, I brought like an ice cube up because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel, right? Like I'm like,
we're prepared for everything,
right? I like to be prepared for all situations in the office, but yeah, I think that's the fun part of it, and that's the part that we got into, you know, part of this for, and I got really heavy into quarantine with. Is just like experimenting and like trying different stuff and like simple starts. I started my own garden and I like started taking rosemary out and mint out. And I'm like, let's make some simple syrups out of it and stuff instead of just buying it from the store. Just try some stuff out.
yeah. So so how does the rosemary go in a? Because I've heard other people trying that and I've heard them trying thyme.
Yeah, so
I feel like rosemary would be better.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I've done rosemary mostly with gin, not so much whiskey, but I've done kind of like a smash almost with rosemary simple.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll bring blueberry, you bring that.
Done.
I'll bring a smoked simple syrup.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Tell me about that. I need to get in on that.
Highly
you
recommend.
You can bring the E.H. Taylor, Dan, because this is yet another bourbon where it's like, well, if you like it, go fuck yourself, because you'll never have that again.
You're never gonna get it.
That is great segue, Stephen, because you are right. This is a hard one to get. One thing that we always do is we talk about where we acquired it and how much we paid for it.
Ooh, I like this because we got ours from you, so this is going to be fun.
Yeah, so I paid $34 for this at Dean's Liquor in Collinsville, Illinois.
We have to go to the east side for
we
alcohol.
Do have to leave Illinois.
This is so stupid.
Well,
I agree.
We know you know somebody. All those things.
You've got to ask for it, and you have to be there on the right day. And
always the right day.
Runs a very solid store, so like there's a good chance that if he does happen to have some in the back, and you show up, and you do the respectful thing, and you chat and you
have the conversation, build the relationship.
Exactly. Build that relationship, even if it's the first time you've ever met Ryan. Because Dean's the dad, Ryan now runs it. So if you're talking with Ryan and he does have it, he's likely to go ahead and sell it to you. And it's going to be the same price for everybody. Like That's he doesn't change the prices based on whether he knows you or not. He might change whether or not he has something based on whether or not.
Naturally, because you're not going to sell everything you've got that's special to the first guy who's like, okay, well, what's in back? I don't want anything on the shelves.
And if you show up and he's got a bottle of E.H. Taylor, a bottle of Eagle Rare, a bottle of Blanton's, you're going to pick one.
Yeah.
You're not walking out with one of each or every E.H. Taylor that he has.
That's fair.
You got to respect that. So Abby and Alaina and Steven, they all got their whiskey tonight from me. Ryan, fucking jack off. Where did you get yours?
From you, but you bought it for me because I couldn't find it in Chicago. This was one of the ones that you called me like, hey, I'm at this liquor store,
and I ended up
they got a bunch of shit. Yeah, $1,700. I let my dad know, and then he transferred Dan money, and Dan just bought a shitload of whiskey.
So Abby, Alaina, what do you guys think of E.H. Taylor small batch?
I like it.
I do.
Buttery. I think it's good. It's a solid pour. There's nothing too complex about it, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know.
It's an easy sipper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I could drink this all day and just be perfectly content.
Yeah, and this to me isn't something where I'm like, sometimes when you have a little bit of rye or you have a little bit of spiciness, I feel like, I would want it in the wintertime. I'm like, this could be summer, it could be winter, it's an easy sipper. And I think this is a good one too that I would, if you can find a bottle, share it with a friend. Share it with a friend you like.
Or that you invite to your podcast, either
Right.
way.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I think
good.
I've said on every single episode is that bourbon and whiskey is always better with friends.
Mhm.
Absolute
Preach.
fact.
It shouldn't be sitting on your shelves.
Correct.
Personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't understand. I get the collection to eventually drink because I have a extensive bar downstairs that I almost had to get a secondary bar for during COVID. But I don't, like keeping it, and I get some guys trade, like some people trade some of the bourbon so they can get a collection of other stuff. I get that, but like keeping it on there so you won't ever drink it, it's like, I don't know.
Just to fucking look at the bottle. Yeah.
Yeah. I live by one rule when it comes to bottles that I have on my shelves. They're kind of like sporadic through the kitchen and bar area. If it is half empty or lower and it is not something that I don't want to share, the next person who invites me over for dinner or whatever, I just take it with me, drop it on the counter, see what happens. And I don't take it when I leave. It's like, this is a single barrel pick from a restaurant in town. Okay, great. I loved it, but it's not like I don't want to share it. There's maybe 2 bottles where I'm like, no one else can have this but me. But that is my rule. It's like half empty or lower, it's going with me next time I leave the house.
That's awesome.
I think that's a breath of fresh air with your podcast too, because you guys have, like, when we do podcasts, at least so far, what we do is whatever we're drinking, that's what the title of the episode is. I notice you guys, your title of your episode, like, sometimes you don't include the whiskey at all. Sometimes it's very secondary, right? The conversations that you have, obviously you're having the bourbon, you're drinking it, you're enjoying it, you're talking about it, but it's more of a piece for the overall experience you guys are having. Would you say that's fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think for Alaina and I, we met drinking, and then we discovered that we enjoyed drinking similar things, bourbon and whiskey cocktails, and we wanted to explore it. And we would always get very frustrated that the conversation was always people saying, no, this is how it's had, and this is how you have to do it, and this is tradition says you have to have it in like a mahogany building with leather gouges and all this horseshit. And it's like, no, that's not true. And the best part about it is Alaina and I were on the very beginning part of our bourbon journey, whatever you want to talk about. So we're like, okay, well, let's do a tasting and figure it out and talk about the distillery, see what history there is and how we can tie it to our lives so it makes it relevant to us what we're sipping on. So the bourbon is a means of sitting down and enjoying each other's company, but it's also the catalyst to the conversation.
And I mean it as a compliment when I say that, it's bourbon is just a means to an end. I think for both of us, because even if we put the title in our episodes, it, as you can tell from like the last episode that I edited, for instance, we're talking about Will Smith movies for half the time. It's almost a disservice to say it's just a bourbon podcast, right?
Right. Yeah. So. And that's what's so amazing about, I think, the way that bourbon is most often enjoyed. It's you pour it neat, you sip on it, you enjoy it. Even bourbon cocktails, if they're made right, and it's not just bourbon and ginger ale and shake it up, and that's not a cocktail in my opinion, but the way it's enjoyed indicates you're going to be sitting there for a significant amount of time. So that conversation is meant to be part of the experience, right? Yeah. It's so great, in my opinion, from my perspective, and this applies to Alaina and I too, that you have set time with your friends.
Yep.
No family, no work, no nothing. You're just literally sitting here shooting the shit, drinking, having a good time, laughing, and you can't replace that. That's the most important thing to keep you sane. I love it.
And as you bring people in, like, we may have not, I mean, despite this, what's going on in 2020, like maybe we would all, 5 of us, I had to count all the squares there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, okay.
It's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
you know,
Oh God.
all 5 of us may not be, you know, able to get together at, you know, point in time. So this is kind of, you know, this is maybe the opportunity that we get. And I think what's cool with the podcast that I've really liked, and we've tried to integrate it into season 2, is that bringing in different voices, whether they're from distilleries or, I mean, we've had someone who's a fitness, Kelsey, who's a fitness expert in, and so it kind of brought like an interesting perspective of health and nutrition into enjoying yourself, enjoying a cocktail, not shaming yourself. I mean, if you're getting
we like to
obliterated
drink
every night, but you know,
Right.
maybe a different story. But yeah, you like to drink, enjoy a cocktail every night, do it like shame free, enjoy what you love to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bartender Pensacola, he was a really interesting interview.
He was.
Yes,
Oh.
I love Andy.
Steven's just trying to show off how much he
Yeah.
listened to your show, by the way. That's
So that interview, you know how I was saying Alaina ran into a concrete curb and I couldn't get my shoes on without vomiting, so I had to do them upside down sort of situation. He was the interview.
Hey,
Unreal.
can everybody be quiet for like a minute? Ryan, what was your favorite episode of the podcast?
Oh, all of them. I've had a busy week. I was telling them that, but yeah,
It's
maybe I
okay.
should have done a little more
Oh.
work.
Don't feel bad because Dan asked us to do
I think
this,
Dan
I
wants
don't
to
know,
kill me. Look at him.
3 or 4 weeks ago, and he goes, here's some episodes that we haven't published yet. Listen to them. Here's an episode we have published, and I still haven't listened to them.
Yeah, neither has
But
anybody
don't let
else.
them
So
make you feel
yeah.
bad.
Nobody else has either, so it doesn't.
No,
matter.
you guys, it's important. I will listen. I just haven't yet.
Hey Ryan, you never told us. I know that this is one of your favorites. What do you like so
Mhm.
much?
You know, that vanilla, and I get a lot of orange off it too.
Yeah.
Vanilla, caramel, and orange. I could just sip on this all day, like you guys said. It's just probably the most sippable bourbon I've ever encountered, where there's no burn. I don't feel hardly anything. You know,
Mhm.
I like it. I think the first time I had it, I was in Lexington, Kentucky with my dad. We went to some horse race down there. I'm like, God, that bottle looks awesome. And we had a glass. I'm like, it's probably the best bourbon I've ever had. Then I had the full proof one down in Dallas a couple months ago, and I had 2 glasses of it. And I think it's like 129 proof or something. I was hammered. It was awesome though. That one's good too. I've never seen that bottle out in the market though. So Dan, if you see it, pick me up one.
There's a couple people I've seen have acquired them, but I'm not one of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Feel good there.
a few minutes ago, I tried it with ice and water, and
Yeah.
I didn't really care for the ice. But the water, with a couple drops of water, it was pretty good. I thought it just adds to that sippability. You do lose quite a bit of the aftertaste, I'll say.
Mhm.
So I don't
Oh,
think I
the
would.
finish, Steven.
The finish. Well, sorry, I'm drinking Colonel E.H.
Ooh,
Taylor.
fighting words right there. The finish. Okay.
Yeah, this bottle came in a sleeve. I will say finish. I'm sorry about that. But you do lose something at the end there. So I think that I probably wouldn't have it again. But if you're looking for sippability, it is so easy to drink with a couple of drops of water, especially.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, the water technically it opens up the nose and the taste, but you're proofing it down at that point when you're adding water. So the finish is not going to be what it is straight out of the bottle.
I think the real thing we need to open up is Dan's mind to some of the terminology I'm using.
Yeah, he needs to give you a glossary before each episode, like what's allowed and what you think it should be, and then what you should actually say.
I'm sorry. I'm a horrible human being. I'm actually truly aware of that, so it's not news to me. Not news. So I've got to ask you guys, what's it like? I mean, I can imagine, and it's not pleasant, but I want to hear from you guys. What's it like to be women in the bourbon world? I would expect that respect does not come very easily. A lot of mansplaining, I would guess.
There is a very significant amount of mansplaining, but I think Alaina and I have been lucky enough to speak to a lot of women who are in the distillery every day and who are working as reps from distilleries and distributors and things like that. And it's really like a 50-50 experience, right? So half the women we speak to, and I think half of my experience, I'm not going to speak for Alaina, but it's very much like, okay, well, you show up to a bar and you're like, can I have Maker's Neat? and the bartender is a dude, and he's looking at you like, really? You don't want a cocktail? Those looks, they'll like pour it, but they're questioning you. Or like if I walk in, I'm like, can I have an Old Forester 1920 neat? And they're like, really? I'm like, yes. Pour it. I will pay for it. There's no problem here.
Yeah.
But a lot of the women that we've spoken to so far, I think that we've interviewed at least on the podcast or tastings, it's been pretty positive, and it's all come from like a place of learning and understanding and community, which inside of the bourbon world, like the industry, like if you work in the industry, a lot of the experience is positive community, learning, inclusivity, that kind of thing. But it's like the women on the outside who are trying to get into bourbon and trying to understand it and learn how to talk about it and discover their taste profiles, that's where you find the discrepancy on like the mansplaining and the, oh, you're a woman, you should just stick to white wine and champagne. It's fine to stay in your lane kind of thing.
And I think too that, to Abby's point, like about the white wine, because I remember we've had a couple of conversations with women, and they're like, oh, I just like wine, and I think it takes a little bit of, I don't know, I like to always put this like onus on the women too. It's like, you should open up, you should explore, you shouldn't, I won't say dumb yourself down, but you shouldn't water yourself down because you don't know how to approach the conversation, or you don't know what somebody else is going to say. So I think me and Abby are probably really dominant personalities. So just a little. So probably we get a little less mansplaining because they don't feel like we can be approached in that way, or we act like, you know, like you should come to me, you should come off as equals. And I'll say that just pretty much echo what Abby said, like everybody in the industry, man, woman, you know, whatnot, everyone's been so amazing and welcoming, and you get a handful of people here and there that you see, and you just, as a human being, we like people, we don't like people, and sometimes we get a bad vibe for people, and we're just like, we're just gonna avoid that because that seems like kind of shitty, not our thing.
That's nope. That's, you know, you just have to find the right people to sit down and have a conversation with, and that's, you know, I think a big part of why we podcast.
So I looked up and I saw that 30% of bourbon drinkers are women, are female.
That statistic has not changed in like 5 years.
So do you think that the data is bad, or do you think that it's just been maintaining that same level?
That's a tough question to answer because I don't know, Alaina, what are your thoughts?
Well, I don't know if the data's bad. I
think it's accurate. I just don't think it's
accurate.
Encompassing.
Yeah, I think that there are maybe more women that are bourbon and whiskey drinkers that may, I don't know, come forward or talk about it, or are being collected.
Traditionally, men have asked this question, and they're like, do you like bourbon or whiskey? And if you respond with, I like it in a cocktail,
okay,
that's where it gets muddy, right? So like women who like bourbon or whiskey in a cocktail, do you actually like it? A lot of the old school mentality is that no, it has to be had in its purest form, otherwise you don't like it.
All right, so we've been talking, we've been drinking for a while, we've been having a blast. It's time to rate the bourbon, right? So Colonel E.H. Taylor, small batch, bottled in bond, 100 proof. It's I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to say I'm going to give it a 8.1, which is the highest rating I've given for any bourbon as of yet. But part of it, as I've mentioned before, is the company. Smoke Wagon is probably number 2, and then Blanton's. But I'm going to give E.H. Taylor tonight an 8.1.
Okay.
I'm going to probably give it, I still like Smoke Wagon Small Batch a little bit more, I think. I'm going to give this a 7.5. I think it's super smooth, really enjoyable. I would love to try it in old fashioned, but I'll never fucking have it again. So this is kind of what it was.
Yeah, you're fucked.
Yeah. But yeah, is a 7.5 that'll be etched in my memory to never have again.
All right, fucking
Most
Jack
sip-
off.
All right, most sippable bourbon I've ever had. Short and sweet, 8.3. My highest rating as well. It's my favorite. I like it. And unless I find something else down the line that we taste, I don't think it's better than this. That's just my opinion.
So your
I've got-
list is
I've
going
got
to cap out at
something.
8.3 then?
I don't. I mean, you can never. I don't know. You can't give anything a perfect 10.
Why
Yeah.
not?
I've
I
got
don't
a
know. I
perfect-
just.
Seems
You
like
got a perfect 10?
Seems like if you don't think you'll ever taste anything
Yeah,
better again,
me.
it should be top 9.
I'm gonna give it a 10. I don't know. I feel like 8.3 is a
Alaina
good number.
laughed.
It's
That
gonna be
was
hard
funny.
to beat it. It's gonna be hard to beat it.
Minor case to me would be like a 9.2, a 9.3, like rye. Oh yeah, that's tasty.
Alaina, what would you rate the E.H. Taylor small batch?
Where the fuck did Dan go?
He's about to
Well,
show
I'm gonna-
us.
There he is.
Oh,
So-
he's bringing more in.
Oh, he's gonna show off again. Here we
To me,
go.
this is a perfect 10.
Which nobody will
Okay.
have, so move on.
Yeah.
And,
And
this
it's
is
bomb
about a
burger. For the
9.7.
audio listeners, it's bomb burgers.
Oh,
What did you
Alaina.
say?
That's about a
8.7 or
9.7.
9.7? Oh, 9.7.
Interesting.
Just throwing it out there. Like,
No, you're not just throwing it out there. You're bragging.
I'm not. I'm not.
How
He said
rude.
nothing's a 10.0. To me,
It's hard.
this is a 10.
Okay, great. When are you sharing?
Is that gonna be the next podcast? All
My
right.
birthday.
Like,
Be right
My
back.
birthday is October 2nd.
so like these are not things I'm gonna give you in a 4-ounce twist top fucking
That's
tester.
fine.
That's not gonna happen.
October
How about
2nd.
a 2 ounce? How about a 2 ounce?
No.
You gotta come over and have it straight from the bottle.
These are like you're like physically
Yes.
together. You're
Mhm.
hanging out bourbons.
So, next time we record this group in person.
Deal. All right, Alaina, Abby,
Oh,
what do you
me.
guys rate it?
I would say this is a 7.8. Like it's definitely an to what we were talking about earlier, it's an easy drink. I'd recommend it to friends. It's like maybe not my absolute favorite thing in the entire world, but it's completely drinkable and good, and there's like a vast difference sometimes I think of drinkable. Like I'll drink something and I was like, that flavor's kind of weird. It's drinkable, it's not harsh, but it's like okay. This is like delicious, good, like you said, can put it in a cocktail, but may not be on my top list. So I feel like on my top list, that's 8 and above. So about 6.8 to 7.8 is about my like average list.
Just like
My
a
average
6
number.
or 7 something.
Usually I put 0.5, but you guys started throwing, even numbers in there. I was like, whatever.
That's amazing.
What about you?
Oh, I like a hot, long finish on my bourbon. So this one is going to come in at probably like a 7.5 for me. I
the
don't
Stag
rate
Junior girl?
things. I don't rate things out of 10 typically. Maybe only one thing I've come across so far in my life. But
Well, don't leave us hanging. What was it?
let me finish.
Okay.
So I think that this is an amazing pour. Don't get me wrong. A 7.5 out of 10, you can let me drink this all day, every day. If I had stacks and stacks of bottles of this, I'd be happy. But my 10 out of 10 pour, okay, I might have lied. There's 2. And they're not technically bourbon. So the 2018 Jim Beam Master Distiller
Okay.
pick is 10 out of 10. And then the Compass Box 3-year deluxe.
Compass Box is so good.
It's
I've never
a
had either.
so
Scottish Arms.
so
Go up there.
Jim Beam Master Distiller. It's got a cool whatever. Their 2018 blend was out of this world. Like the taste stayed with me for days. Like everything I ate for 3 days, it was on the flavor. It was amazing. I don't even know how it happened. The finish just lasted. Compass Box, started by the guy who was master distiller at Johnny Walker for like 30 years or something. Amazing. Their 3-year deluxe is a 30-something-year-old Scotch, a 40-something-year-old Scotch, and a 3-year-old Scotch. And because it's Scotch, it has to be listed under the youngest age statement. So it's a 3-year deluxe. And the flavor, the nose, the taste, it's just like every time you sipped it, it was a completely new experience. And I'm not always going to be a big Scotch fan. I like Scotch when I'm smoking cigars. That's my standard. This 3-year deluxe, I was like, there were no words to explain the experience of sipping it. It was wild. So those, in my opinion, those are my 10s.
Those are 10s. Okay.
When words fail.
Women.
And it lasts. Look, we have
What does that even
expectations.
mean? What does that even
Rise to the occasion, you know?
I had to say it once this episode. It doesn't mean anything.
Women.
mean? Women.
That's funny. I'll respect that.
Well, 3 listeners, 3 followers, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening. If you're new to the show, thanks for hanging out with us. Folks, if you liked the episode,
Just sit back and learn to another better show. Another better show.
I love it, but I could see Smoke Wagon as being a very hit or miss bourbon. And there goes fucking Jag.
I'm here.
Okay.
I don't know what
That's
the fuck
okay.
just
It's just
happened. I don't know what
just
the
showing
fuck
your
just
name.
happened. Can you see my video?
No.
No.
Abby,
there
that
we go.
cut so deep.
Oh, there we
that
go.
cut so
Okay.
deep, asking him if he was really.
He's so quiet. I see him. I don't hear him.
Dan,
We're
I just
trying to
had-
make sure that he doesn't talk.
Dan
Oh.
kept talking. Dan kept talking, and the video just stopped. And I was still moving. I'm like, why isn't anyone else moving? What the fuck's going on here? And then it just crashed. I don't know. Sorry about that.
Not
We're
sure
trying to
if
make
it's
sure that
whiskey or
It's
we're
mom's
trying to make sure that
Wi-Fi.
Ryan doesn't talk this episode. That's the
Yeah.
goal here.
Be the least editing I've ever had to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
How long was I off
oh,
for?
funny. Long enough.
20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You were legally dead, bro.
Shit keeps freezing.
Maybe you should get your own place with some Wi-Fi. It's a little better.
I tell my
Oh,
dad all
there
the
it goes.
time. Am I off again?
It's
You're
a
off
great,
again.
It's a great punchline just to see his name.
Like the fact that that has been his name since before we like even started this whole situation, and he just realized it and can't figure out. It's literally you Google on Zoom, how do I change my name back?
Well, he can't because he's on his iPod. Or
iPad.
iPad, sorry.
Yeah, I got the iPod Nano.
Oh my god. It sounds like you're on an iPod Nano.
You're in a foreign country. What are you doing with your life?
I haven't owned a computer since 2014.
Do you
So,
have
I
a
mean-
job?
Yeah. On this iPad that doesn't fucking work. That's what I use for my job.
So you don't have a job because the iPad doesn't work.
All his money goes to shitty custom suits, right? Like he's got to
He
live
has to wear
his
in downtown
Sopranos
Chicago.
lifestyle.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
so pleased with the direction of this episode.
This whole episode has been shitting on Ryan, and that
You
is
know, it's
Yeah.
easy.
I mean,
It's easy.
we can all throw some faults out there and attack each other, whatever works. But, you know,
or we could just all pick on Ryan. Like
yeah, that's works. It's
But the
working so
best part
far.
about it is Ryan won't know until like a minute later when his
Yeah.
Wi-Fi kicks in.
No, I'm off the Wi-Fi, and then my iPad just reconnects by itself, and then I go away.
Sorry, what are you saying? You're a bit fuzzy. Oh, there he goes.
There you go.
Shoot.
Oh.
Oh, Jesus.
hey Ryan, I want to know tell me one of the questions that you have prepared for our special guest tonight.
Oh.
Well, but to backtrack just a little bit, what you guys have experienced with like bourbon and just douchebags.
So
and
they're
all that,
blondes?
No, just like the whole.
Apparently lesbians.
I sell a lot of wine too. I sell a lot of wine, and I'm actually just a wine sales rep now. Which
Ryan,
fucking sucks.
can you actually leave the call or something and like restart and come back, because I worry you're going to have a good question and we're not going to get good audio.
He sounds
That's a
like
lot
he's
of
on
coughing.
dial-up.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm on Verizon.
Is that AOL?
Oh, Verizon. That's your problem. Yep.
Here, let me try
Just
something.
aim. Just
Do you want
say
me to hang up and call back?
Yeah, try that.
Yeah.
Literally what
Let me
Steven
try.
said, but yeah, go for it.
Hold on. I gotta find the link. I'll be right back.
Yeah, thank you for woman-splaining for me, Abby.
Yeah.
I was hey, can you hang
We
up
should
and call
all-
back?
We should
And
all
then-
log off and go to a different.
I was really worried he was going to say his first fucking useful thing all episode, and it was
And
gonna
it
be
was
garbage.
funny.
Yeah.
It like literally reminded me of sitting in my dad's office growing up and like dial up internet. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, is it gonna work? Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, we do these episodes with his phone in the windowsill of the basement so that
He
he
uses
can
his
get.
phone as a hotspot.
Oh,
for
that's
his
bad.
iPad. And his phone, we get better signal if it's in the basement window. Then
This is the production quality that brands love to associate themselves with.
No, but he literally has no laptop.
no.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's I have two. I literally have the one I'm on and then like this other one. Like I have two laptops right now.
Well,
Yeah.
technically, I
In front
have
of me.
4 in the house because work has.
Oh,
I have a lot of
Fireball.
work.
He's gone a different direction.
Get the fuck out of here. That's trash.
You want to see trash?
No, I want you. While you
Bring out
got
the party
decent
bucket.
internet,
Bring out the party
Oh,
bucket.
you got decent internet. Ask your goddamn question.
No, I wanted to go back to the like. Well, I'm real turned off to wine for that same exact thing you guys were talking about, because they just throw us in these bullshit wine trainings, and it's just, oh, doesn't this taste like black leather? This wine, talking about grapes growing. And I go to the whiskey guys, and they're just like, yeah, it tastes like cinnamon, brown sugar, whatever the fuck. Let's just get drunk.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, so it's just a pain in the ass. I don't know.
Mhm. I have
Okay, well,
I
I
have
guess
an-
we didn't need good audio.
No.
No, I'm sure.
Wait, no.
Well, I had it before all
I'm
this.
gonna beef up his. Well, I don't know where this is going. If there's a question or not.